In this video, we will show you how to fit the door frame for sliding doors. We will show you how to secure the door frame to your polytunnel on both soil and solid bases. Here are the parts you'll need. The door frame comprises of 3 pieces of 100mm by 47mm by 3m timber, which are the 2 door frame posts and 1 door frame lintel. The remaining pieces supplied in the pack are 19mm by 38mm by 1.8m battens, which are used later when fitting your polytunnel cover. Run a taut string line across the width of your polytunnel on the end hoop across the front of the hoop. You will use the string line to make sure your door frame is flush with the end hoop. Determine the centre of your polytunnel width by measuring 8 feet from the corner hoop from the centre of the tube. From this central position, measure 1.14 metres towards each corner hoop. This identifies the position of your doorposts. If you are fitting to an earth base, you'll be required to excavate a 30cm square by 40cm deep hole for each doorpost. If fitting to a solid base such as concrete or timber, the door frame post will be secured to the ground using brackets. We will show you this process shortly. Reposition the door frame post into the hole or onto the solid base, ensuring the front face of the post is behind the string line. Ensure the door frame post is positioned 1.14 metres from the centre mark to the outside of the door frame post. Use a spirit level to make the doorpost vertically level. Mark where the doorpost meets the hoop and cut the post on this mark. Reposition the doorpost. Fit a P-clip onto the hoop. Both prongs of the P-clip should run down the outer face of the doorpost where it is held in place with bolts. Using a 9mm wood drill bit, drill a hole on the marks through the timber. Push a bolt through the P-clip and drill holes so that the thread is on the inside of the polytunnel. Loosely secure with a washer and nut. Adjust your door frame post so that the front face touches the string line and the outer edge of your door frame post is 1.14 metres from the centre and is vertically level. Once you are happy with the position, tighten the nuts on the P-clip and secure the P-clip in place with a self-drilling screw. We will now secure the bottom of the door frame post. If on soil, backfill the hole with concrete. We suggest using concrete that is 1 part cement and 5 parts aggregate. We also recommend postcrete. This ready-made mix is supplied in 20kg bags, requires no mixing, you simply add water. Approximately 1 bag per hole will be required. If on a solid base, fix the base of the plate to the floor using shield anchors for concrete or coach screws for timber. Position the door frame post plate on the ground inside of your polytunnel. Make a mark through the centre hole, then remove. If on a concrete base, drill a hole 8 cm deep using a 14mm masonry drill bit. Separate the bolt and washer from the sleeve and insert through the hole in the door frame post plate, and then screw on the sleeve. Locate the shield anchor into the hole and firmly tighten using a 17mm spanner. If on a timber base, drill a pilot hole 7 cm deep using a 7mm timber drill bit. Finally, screw the plate onto the doorpost using the screws provided. Repeat this process for the second doorpost. It is now time to fit the door frame lintel. You will be required to cut the door frame lintel so that it fits between the doorposts. The door frame lintel should be at the height of 2.1 metres from the ground to the bottom edge of the lintel. Measure up 1 doorpost 2.1 metres. If your site slopes across the width, measure up the post on the higher side. Offer the door frame lintel up, position one end flush with the doorpost, and make a mark at the other end and cut. Reposition the lintel, ensure the door frame lintel is level and use a 4mm wood drill bit to drill a pilot hole. Use a 150mm screw to secure to the doorpost. Repeat at the other side. The joints can now be reinforced with nail plates on both sides. Position a nail plate equally across the joint and secure in place with twisted nails. We will now fit a door frame stabiliser. The door frame stabiliser spans from the central ridge to the inside of the door frame lintel. Door frame stabilisers are 61cm long and are flat on both ends, with one end bent at 45 degrees. Fit a Q-clip to the central ridge. Locate the flat end of the door frame stabiliser to the Q-clip on the central ridge and loosely secure in place with a bolt and nut, ensuring the bent end is correctly orientated to be secured to the door frame lintel. Now drill a hole through the centre of the door frame lintel. Slide the door frame stabiliser along until it meets the inside face of the door frame lintel. Push a 75mm M8 bolt through the door frame lintel and the door frame stabiliser. Ensure that the threaded end of the bolt is on the inside of the polytunnel. Secure in position using a washer and nut. Adjust the Q-clip on the central ridge so that it is not pushing the door frame down nor pulling it up, and firmly tighten. We will now fit the sliding door support rails. Sliding door support rails are fitted between the doorpost and corner hoop to support the sliding door. Sliding door support rails are 47mm by 75mm timber and come in lengths of 1.6 meters, which will need cutting to size. From the ground, measure up the doorpost 30cm and make a mark. Position a piece of timber flush with the doorpost and horizontally level, and cut the piece of timber to fit between the doorpost and corner hoop. Secure the support rail to the door by drilling a pilot hole using a 4mm wood drill bit, and then use a 150mm screw. The support rail is fixed to the corner hoop, using a P-clip supplied in the sliding door support rail fixing kit. Position a P-clip onto the corner hoop with both prongs of the P-clip running along the front face of the sliding door support rail. Make a mark through the two holes on the P-clip and then drill a hole through the timber on each mark. Reposition the P-clip and secure the rail to the P-clip using the bolts and nuts provided. Ensure the support rail is level and then secure the P-clip to the hoop using a self-drilling screw. Now reinforce the joints between the doorpost and support rail using nail plates on both sides. The final step for the support rail is to fix a batten to it on the outside. The batten should be cut to fit between the end of the P-clip and approximately 5mm away from the joint on the doorpost. You may require more than one length of batten and need to cut to size. Once the correct size, nail the batten to the support rail, ensuring the top edges are flush. We will now show you how to fit your sliding doors. The process of fitting your sliding doors will be done once you have fitted your polytunnel cover. Please watch the video Fitting Polytunnel Cover to Timber or Aluminium Rail using the trenching method, and then return to this section to perform the final fit of your sliding doors. For each double sliding door, the aluminium door rail track is supplied in two lengths of 2.4 meters. You will be required to join the two pieces of door track together. Join these together by inserting a rail joiner approximately halfway into the T-slot on the rear of the door track. Position the second track so the ends meet. Check the rail joiner is central and tighten all 4 grub screws with the supplied 3mm Allen key. The door track is secured to the lower batten and lintel using 8 bolts. First, we will measure and mark where you need to drill the holes to secure the sliding door track. Measure 10 cm in from the inner edge of the door frame post. Now measure 2 cm up from the bottom edge of the door frame lintel. From the bottom of the door track to the fixing channel is 2 cm. The 2cm marks gives us a guide for your holes. Repeat on both sides. Use the door track to draw a straight line along the door frame lintel. The door track joiner will inhibit using fixing bolts within the central 20cm section. Find the central point of your door frame lintel and then measure 10cm either side to ensure you don't position the bolts here. Mark the position of the remaining holes required. Ensure they are all spaced an even distance apart. With a 9mm wood drill bit, drill the required holes. Slide 4 bolts down each end of the T-slot on the door track. The track should be positioned centrally and overhang evenly on both sides of the door frame. Align the bolts into position through the holes. Bolt into position by fitting a washer and nut. You have now fitted the sliding door track. The corners of the door track are sharp. Please ensure you fit corner protectors to prevent any injury. To eliminate the risk of damaging the polytunnel cover when the doors open and close, battens are fixed on the inner batten of the door frame posts. A batten is also fixed directly on top of the existing batten on the sliding door support rails. Slide the doors onto the door track. If your doors are not correctly aligned, adjust the wheel assembly by turning clockwise or anti-clockwise. We will now fit the door stops. Door stops prevent the doors from rolling out of the track. 4 door stops are provided, 1 for each end of the track and an additional 2 stops in the middle of the track. Assemble the door stop by screwing the slotted grub screw through the bracket and into the rubber stop. You will be required to remove 1 door from the track. Slide 2 door stops down the door track to the centre. Rehang the second door. Close the doors so they are central to the frame and then adjust the door stops to butt up to the wheels. Slide in the outside stop and tighten the slotted grub screw. Adjust each stop by releasing, sliding along and retightening until the door stop is in the required position. We will now fit the door guide. The door guide prevents your sliding door from swinging in the wind. Assemble the door guide by screwing on the flange nut onto the threaded rod, with the flange at the top. Slide on the nylon roller and secure with the locking nut. You will need to hold the rod with grips to hold it tight while screwing on the locking nut. Do not tighten the nut completely. Allow the roller to turn. Position the door guide in line with the door frame post which the door slides past. Making sure it is upright, drive the guide into the ground. You will be required to repeat this process for both doors. If you have a hard base, fix a door frame post plate to the floor. Now we will fit the door drop spikes that keep your door from blowing in the wind. Door drop spikes are fitted to the outside face of the door on the opposite side to the door opening. Measure up from the bottom of the door 9cm and make a mark. Position a door drop spike guide bracket so the bottom of the bracket is flush with this mark. Mark the position of the 2 slots in the bracket and across the top. Now reposition the bracket so the bottom of the bracket is flush with the top mark and mark the position of the 2 slots again. Using a 9mm wood drill bit, drill a hole through the door for the 4 slots. On the inside face of the door, insert pronged T-nuts into each hole. Bolt the 2 angled brackets onto the door with the slot on each bracket at the top. Close the door to the required position, slide the drop spike down through both brackets and mark the position on the ground. Open the door and bury the tube in the required position. If your polytunnel is on a hard base, the housing tube is not required. Simply drill a hole using a 9mm drill bit to an appropriate depth. Repeat this process on both doors. You can find more videos to help you build your polytunnel and construct.firsttunnels.co.uk. We also have a construction helpline if you require any further assistance.